Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming and listening to the presentation on the ISO 16128 standard for natural and organic cosmetics. I'll talk about the approach, the development, and what is the application for the industry. First of all, let's have a look at what is ISO and how does it work. ISO stands for the International Standardization Organization. It is an emanation of the World Trade Organization, the WTO, with a role to help develop and publish international standards. It's an independent, non-governmental organization with a membership of 163 national standards bodies. The members of ISO are the national standard body of the different countries. So today, there are about 163 countries that are member of ISO. Countries nominate experts to share knowledge, develop voluntary, consensus-based, market-relevant international standard in order to support innovation and provide solutions to international challenges. Let's see on how does it work. Along the years, technical committees have been created to deal with one topic. For example, TC 217, the Technical Committee 217, deals with cosmetics. And each TC decides to create working group to deal with specific areas. In the TC 217, there is a working group on microbiology, another one on analytical method, another one on sun protection method, etc. So the working group are created by the technical committee to work on specific areas. Now, in each country, there's a mirror committee, or there should be a mirror committee, namely a committee of experts that review the work done at the TC level, and they discuss the content of the standard, they make comments, and at the end, they cast the country vote. Each country, and we'll see how that works, countries have to vote along the line, along the timeline for the standard to development. TC 217, I was the chairman for the period 2014-2019, 2-3 years term, representing Singapore. As of 2020, the chairman is Uli Osterwalder, who represents Switzerland. Mrs. Mojde Tabari, representing Iran, is the manager of the technical committee. The TC 217 has 39 participating countries, or P members, and 27 O member or observing country. P member can vote on the different milestone of the standard. They can send expert to any working group, while observing country only receive the information, they don't vote. But they are kept informed. They want to be kept informed of the developments. And then there are liaison. TC 217 has 9 associations representatives who can participate in the meeting. They are liaison. They're representing like Cosmetics Europe. They're representing the European Cosmetic Associations around, and they participate in the meeting. They can send experts, they can discuss the standard, they can even lead the standard, but they don't have the right to vote. Now, standards and regulations, very often this question come up. It is a standard, is it mandatory? The WTO TBT agreement, TBT stands for the Technical Barrier to Trade, specified that when a product meets an international standard, countries cannot prevent it from entering. except for human safety, environmental safety, or religious reasons. As such, ISO standards are facilitating international trade. The TBT agreement also asks countries that want to regulate to, as much as possible, use international standards in their regulation. Otherwise, compliance to standard is voluntary, but it can be made mandatory by regulations. So we see, for example, more and more countries adopting ISO 22716 as the standard for cosmetic GMP. Many have also adopted ISO 24444 as the official measure for SPF in vivo. So while standards are voluntary, they can become mandatory if a regulation is issued by a country with reference to the standard. How does the standard, why is the standard developed? It's developed at the request of a country. So a country can request for a new standard and to be introduced, and the TC will decide whether yes or no. It's something that the TC wants to take, and under which working group is going to be developed. If none of the existing working group is encompassing the topic of the standard use proposal, then a new working group can be created. Spain is the country that requested a standard on natural and organic cosmetics, and it was attributed to Working Group 4 terminology. We see a lot of questions like organic, natural. What claim can I make about my product? So let's first look at the claim guidelines and how claims are regulated. What is a claim? The basis for claims is incorporated in the EU Regulation 655/2013, Article 20. And basically, while it's not regulated, the wording, what is a claim, is not necessarily regulated in other countries, from an experience point of view, the same basis for claim is used in all countries around the world. The Article 20 says that in the labeling, text, names, trademark, pictures, and figurative or other signs shall not be used to imply that these products have characteristics or function which they do not have. That means that text, name, trademark, pictures, any sign is a claim, and claims have to be represent characteristic or function of the product. Let's see about what claims can be. So everything can be considered as a claim. And claims can be made everywhere. On the product label, the advertising, it's usually everyone understands that what is written on the product, what is written on the advertising of the product is a claim. But not many people realize that websites are, what is written on the website is also a claim. And there could be more than other areas that can be considered as a claim. The EU regulation says that claims must be legal, truthful, have evidential support, be honest, fair, and they should lead to informed decision-making for the consumers. So let's look very quickly of what does that mean. Legal, for example, all products must comply with the regulations. As such, you cannot make a claim that my product is legal every product must be legal. One of the examples of an unacceptable claim in that area that I have seen very often is our product is approved by the health authority. Well, products that are notified must be notified before being placed in the market. And that notification is not an approval, and it's mandatory. And usually health authorities do not allow the use of their name or logo without permission. Claims must be truthful. If the claim is that an ingredient is present, it must be in the formula. Claims cannot imply that a product has the property of the ingredient contained unless this is supported or the reference is explicit. The example I usually give is that if your product contains 3% glycerin and you claim that it is moisturizer, then this is supported by a lot of clinical studies published. But an example of an acceptable claim, I've seen products saying does not contain any chemical. Well, a 100% natural product is also 100% chemical. Natural extracts are a blend of many chemicals. And natural derived ingredients are only synthetic chemicals of natural origin. Evidential support claims must be supported by evidence. If there are clinical studies, this must be ethical, follow well-established protocol, be well-designed and well-conducted, and claims can be supported by publications. Honesty. Claim must not go beyond the supporting evidence, not too far beyond. Cannot claim unique because you don't know if any other product in the market do provide the same benefit. And it should lead to informed decision making. In order, claim must be clear, understandable by the average consumer, but claims can be adapted based on the audience. If you sell your product through professionals like hair salon, beauty salon, or dermatologist, the claims you can make to the professional can be different from the claims you make to the consumer. So let's look at natural or organic claims. What is the consumer perception? There's an increased interest in natural and organic cosmetic products and ingredients. They now represent about 10% of the total market. But there is a but. There is total confusion in consumer perception. At the international level, there are several certification norms, and sometimes these norms are conflicting. The industry and the consumers want clarity, transparency, and the end to greenwashing. I've seen products claiming that they have organic aloe vera gel, and when you look at the ingredient listing, it's below the preservative list in the listing. So it means that it's below 1%. It may be there, but shouldn't be on the front panel. And with more than 30 logos around the world, we're all confused, not only consumers. Too many logos. So the objective of the ISO 16128 standard is for the consumer, transparency, easy interpretation of the claims. For the industry, it's a simple way to determine the percentage of naturalness of an ingredient or of a product. For the regulator, simple way to determine the validity of claims made. And we're going to look a little bit into that. ISO standards are international. As such, they're recognized all over the world. What is the terminology of the ISO standard? Terminology define the guidelines on technical definition and criteria for natural and organic ingredients and products. That's the ISO standard 16128. The part 1 relates to the definitions for ingredient, was published in 2016, And the part 2 gives the criteria for ingredient and product, and it was published in 2017. And the 2 parts must be used together. The standard, which is here for part 1, is specially developed for cosmetics. It is a logical and consistent reference for ingredients and products. It is promoting a better choice of natural or organic ingredient, and it's promoting innovation. But it's not touching on communication, claims, or human or environmental health. It's not touching on socioeconomic areas like fair trade or Nagoya Protocol, and it's not touching on packaging or legal matters. So the standard does not cover everything, but it covers a certain number of things that will allow you to make claims about your product percentage index of natural, organic, natural origin, organic origin ingredients. For the ingredient, there are different categories: natural and derived natural ingredient, mineral and derived mineral, organic and derived organic. Then we have to define the water. And we separate the water as constitutive water, the water that is present in the plant, like aloe vera gel, for example, or orange juice. The reconstitution water, which is, if you take aloe vera gel, dehydrate it in order to save on transportation, and then reconstitute it by adding the same amount of water, that water is reconstitution water. And then you have extraction water, the water that is added to the plant material to extract, to make the extract. Then in a formula, you have formulation water. And then you have, of course, or you may have, non-natural ingredients. Part 2 refers to criteria for ingredients and product. It explains the principles used to determine the indices of natural origin, organic origin, which apply to the ingredient defined. It offers a way to calculate the natural, derived natural, organic, or derived organic indices of the product based on the definition of part 1. That's why the 2 parts have to work together. For example, I'm giving just an example for natural index. It's a value indicating whether a cosmetic ingredient meets the definition of natural ingredient. The value is assigned to each ingredient. A natural index of 1 means the ingredient meets the definition. The natural index of constitutive, reconstruction, extraction, and formulation water, they're all considered as natural, so equal to 1. Natural index 0, the ingredient doesn't meet the definition of natural ingredient. And you have the same thing in the standard about natural derived index, organic index, organic derived index. Finished product indexes, the different indexes have been developed to determine the percentage of naturalness of the product with and without the formulation water. Some companies don't want to include formulation water. So, okay, both are described in the standard. So you can have percentage of naturalness, percentage of natural origin, percentage of organicity, percentage of organic origin. And all these percentages can be determined with or without the formulation water. The indexes are based on the sum of the index for each ingredient multiplied by the percentage of the ingredient in the formula. So that's why it's important for you to determine the index of each ingredient, whether done by your raw material supplier or you do it yourself. Claims are not considered in the ISO standard, but it's important to note now that the standard will most probably serve as the basis for control of claims. The calculation in the ISO standard can be made by the company or by an outside expert. You don't need to be certified. There's no certification, but it's possible to have an agency that would certify based on the standard. What are the claims? The claim ISO standard allows you to claim the percentage of naturalness of the product. For example, product is 98% natural according to ISO 16128 standard. But ISO standard does not define a natural or organic product. And as such, you cannot claim based on the ISO standard natural product. Some companies that do certified product based on their own standard will say that you need to have 95% and above to be called natural product. But the ISO standard does not consider that. There are additional references. There is our technical reports. Technical reports, or TR, are descriptive, not normative. So they are different from a standard. They have been prepared and issued to deal with special cases or to answer frequently asked questions. So TR 22582, published in 2019, referred to the extractive evaporation and calculation of organic index. TR 23199 referred to the calculation of organic index of hydrolates. And TR 23750, which was published in August 2021, answers to FAQ on ISO 16128. So it's very important because a lot of questions were received after the publication, and we dealt with the question into a TR to answer the questions. In conclusion, the ISO standard 16128 provides a clear, transparent, scientific way of calculating the natural, derived natural, mineral, derived mineral, organic or derived organic index of ingredients and finished product. It allows companies to claim the percentage without the need for certification, which is always possible. It allows consumer a clear, transparent choice. It gives regulators a basis for controls, and it promotes innovation and always pushing for a higher content. If your product is 95% natural and your competitor is 97%, you are pushed to innovate in order to get to a higher level of innovative natural content. Thank you for your attention. You have here my email address should you have any question on the presentation. Thank you.